The honourable member for Windsor West.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and it's a pleasure to rise here on Bill C-218. I want to start by thanking my former colleague and friend Joe Comartin, who brought this bill to this Parliament in previous Parliaments. I've had it since that time, and I want to thank the member for bringing it again in partnership because, as we've heard even from the bloc, this is really a strong piece of legislation that's due its time. I like their reference with regards especially to the international reputation and the work that's going on to actually fight illegal gaming across the world. And Madam Speaker, that's a choice that we have to make here right now, and this choice we should have made before. Unfortunately, the heavy lobbying by the professional sports societies over a number of different decades have stopped Canada from moving forward. And what's changed over the years, Madam Speaker, is something as New Democrats we saw taking place was the fact that this was moving across the planet and the globe and even into the United States, where the court system was readjusting the Nevada circuit that was born out of criminal organization, that was broken down finally to actually now to provide this type of organized effort to actually regulate the industry across the United States, and hence the sporting organizations finally came to their senses with regards to understanding is that we need a better plan. Organized crime and those that are predicating on people have gotten away far too long, not only just here in Canada, but across the globe with regards to an unregulated product that spends millions upon millions of dollars in local areas just to fight them, and then billions to fight them across the globe. And when you look at this bill, Madam Speaker, all it is doing is adjusting something right now that is necessary at this point in time. I've traveled across this country and I've seen the people that are affected by the unregulated market. And I can tell you, the thugs, those that are doing the offshore betting and the organized crime element are not dealing with the social repercussions that have with regards to betting in general. In fact, Madam Speaker, we have to spend extra money just to fight those elements back. So what we're asking for, Madam Speaker, when you look at a province like Ontario here, is it's legal right now to bet on 3 games, but you can't bet on 2, and you can't bet on 1, and you can't do that, and the change hasn't happened here because of paternalism of a central government that goes back to colonialism. And that's what we're asking for right here, Madam Speaker, is we are asking for the provinces to have a chance to fight back, the provinces to make their choices on what products and services that they will offer their constituents and their citizens. And they will be the frontline people to deal with the repercussions if there is going to be some negative activity with regards to single event sport gaming. It will give them power. It will give them custodianship of a responsible product that is then put out. And Madam Speaker, that is the public good that we are talking about here. Because right now, with a system of 3, works against individual citizens. It's called a parlay bet because it's actually a rigged bet. It makes it very difficult for the persons to win and actually creates further problems and complications. What this allows is for us, Madam Speaker, to become into the modern age of a regulated system. And who are we fighting here with regards to this system? We are fighting criminal activity from the organized elements that are connected to the Hells Angels and other type of organized crime to those that are doing the back rooms, the basements, and the bars that are actually running the numbers and making some profit off the backs of people. And so what are the alternatives here? And the alternatives here is to bring in this regulated market. And what happens with the regulated market, Madam Speaker, is that you actually have revenue to deal with a number of different problems. And then you also have revenue, Madam Speaker, that's actually going to bring public good. When you look at Michigan, for example, the most recent to bring this in the United States, because again, we saw this was going to take place, they are putting their revenue towards helping firefighters when they actually get cancer or other illnesses on the job. The rest of the money is going to education. They get to choose. Each province will get to choose. They'll put what product they want out, and they'll decide how that goes out, and then they'll decide where the revenues go. And when you look at, Madam Speaker, the history of this bill, it also comes from competition. We have billions of dollars of legal regulated betting that is now at risk. When you look at communities like mine in Windsor, Casino Windsor, you look at Hamilton, you look across this country where they have tourist destinations where people go and visit, no longer have a product available that they have to compete with in the United States, and they have to compete with the phone. And I'll tell you, Madam Speaker, there's been a sad story taking place here because there's the value-added jobs that we have that are in the actual regulated sports industry business and all the entertainment that goes around it. Then you also have all those that are doing the work for the web design, they're running the different scenarios, and the actual work that goes behind analysis and the activity that takes place there. We get no benefit from that right now. We send tens of billions of dollars underground that then goes to human smuggling, that then goes to violent crime, that then goes to prostitution, that then goes to drugs, and then we actually have to use our other legal revenue to fight that at the cost of millions of dollars locally and hundreds of millions of dollars nationally. It's time to change that, Madam Speaker. It's time to change it. And that's why when I introduced my bill for this, we actually had the Canadian Chamber of Commerce on board and the Canadian Labour Congress. Think of that, Madam Speaker. We have the business community and the labor community together. We have provinces, we have a number of different organizations that are looking at this through the lens of tourism. We have a number of different groups that understand the status quo does not work, and that's why Canada has been left behind. That's why Canada now has to compete with illegal activity. And you look at, Madam Speaker, here are some headlines of some of the recent activity. We have 9 arrested, 35 million in items seized in organized crime bust. Police bust illegal casino and spa north of Toronto, seized 20,000 square foot mansion and $1 million in cash. Police lay 228 charges in alleged illegal gaming ring tied to Hell's Angels. And when you look at the most recent one, Madam Speaker, and this is what's baffling about the government's position currently on this, you look at the article and they have all kinds of different things in here that are quite shocking that is tied to the unregulated market. Here are the words: dozens of suspects facing hundreds of charges, illegal gaming, 2-year-long investigation. 18 other agencies and police services had to come together. Further acts of violence. Well, all 5 allegedly illegal gaming websites. So they're talking about legal gaming websites. That's what's happening right here with Hell's Angels and others. They've moved not only just to the thuggery on the streets, but also the organized activity online. You have people gunned down. In Toronto, a homicide tied to this. 21 firearms seized. Cash, vehicles, jewelry, vacation homes, gold, silver bars seized. That's what we're fighting against, Madam Speaker. 28 people with a total of 228 offenses in this one bust alone. And Madam Speaker, it's not good enough what the government's doing right now. It's not good enough to push us on to another parliament. We cannot compete out there with this activity. And then there's the good things that can happen with regards to a regulated market. We have Casino Windsor, for example, and we have organized jobs that actually have benefits. There's actually money going to deal with gaming addiction, which is super important to deal with in all of this. There is no way Hell's Angels and other types of organized criminals are giving to their United Way. They're not giving to the actual charities that are out there and saying, we're going to help you, we're going to deal with your addiction problem. What they're doing, Madam Speaker, they're extending the credit. They're giving them more products. They're actually giving them a raw bet. They are actually putting them further in debt. And they're also making people deal with this with shame, the admission of doing illegal activity, and the type of support that's necessary for people should be out there, and it shouldn't be shamed of dealing with that. And that's what's upsetting about the Parliamentary Secretary's intervention about this. We are saying to all those people that have those issues is that you have to keep that underground. For mental health issues, for supports for families, all those different things, there needs to be the actual money to deal with them, and there also has to be the responsibility of the provinces and the state, being the federal government in this place, being the opportunity for them to deal with this, the actual admission that we're going to actually help and use the revenues to public good. And again, I mentioned Michigan, but when you look at what they're doing with it, but I can tell you right now with COVID-19, we can actually do one of two things as the sports leagues emerge again and the activity stays at home as we're all waiting. We can give them a bonus again, and that's what's happening, Madam Speaker. They are getting a bonus under COVID-19, and they're not going to be paying the big profit tax that maybe some other companies should actually get. The organized crime is not going to actually come sauntering up to the table and say, okay, we're going to give you money for infrastructure, we're going to give you money for health care, we're going to give you money for education. They're going to take that money and they're going to squirrel it away either in Canada or somewhere else in the world, and they're going to use it for all the other illegal activity. And what we're going to have to do, Madam Speaker, by just the few stories I've read here and noted, is that we're going to have to pay more money to the RCMP, we're going to have to pay more money for provincial police, we're going to have to pay more money for municipal police to fight this. And that's what's taking place, Madam Speaker. It's time to change, it's time to come of age, it's time for us to grow up.